See you tonight. Will you be bringing Dean back again after school?
No.
Pity. Seemed like a nice young man.
Yeah, if I never see him again, it'll be too soon.
They seem to be getting on so well.
Usually the way with teen romance. I wouldn't let it worry you.
Yes, you're right. Got everything?
Yep. Apart from customers.
Just you wait while my Seth gives his evidence. That'll convince them. Is Nick bearing up all right?
Yeah, he seems to be. I'm just more worried about Alice.
Now, don't you start worrying about her, because you've got this trial to get through first. Now, come on, love. I've got my fingers crossed for you.
You know, I don't think I've done a better deal since I got here. Won't find a cheaper plonk on the market.
You know that as soon as you taste it.
Hey, we don't have to taste it, darling. We just open the good stuff and bask in the profits.
But maybe that's not the right way to run the business. We could get some good quality wines, have some light entertainment, and attract a whole new set of customers.
We have a saying over here. Don't cast your pearls before swine.
Why should he get individual tuition for doing wrong when the rest of them get ignored for behaving themselves?
It's not like that.
No, our kids haven't got a computer because some little tearaway smashed it up. And who's going to pay to replace it?
Mrs. Windsor, perhaps you'd like to come to my office?
Don't think you can fob us off with some stupid excuse. We want something done about this.
We're not going to let Viv dictate to us.
Of course not. But I might go and see Alan Turner. He's the school governor, and I think we might need some support on this.
Look after him. I'm not sure when he'll be back.
Oh, but you'll be back for the reading of the will, won't you? Whatever anyone says, you're Frank's widow.
Wonder who that poor woman was. One they exhumed yesterday.
If anyone knows the answer, I'd say Kim does.
Where's she going? Over the hills and far away. She seems content to let everyone else worry about the will.
Which means she knows she's lost this time.
It's not a game, Chris.
Of course not. But maybe I've got the winning hand for a change.
What's it going to take to make you realise that he's just no good? Wait until he demolishes the whole school?
Let's be reasonable about this, Mrs. Windsor. Andrew comes from a difficult background. It's up to all of us to help him settle down.
So he gets all the time, trouble and money spent on him, while the likes of my Donna just has to settle for whatever's left over.
I'm sorry you feel like that, but education has to be about priorities. And we believe at the moment that getting Andrew back into the system is the most important thing.
Maybe he doesn't just need his own teacher. Maybe he needs his own school.
What?
Well, if you're going to run this place round one disruptive little kid, then maybe the rest of us should keep our children at home till you realise they've got rights as well.
I must warn you against escalating the situation, Mrs. Windsor.
And I must warn you that without the parents and their children, you don't have a school. You're quick enough to come to us when you want fundraising done.
That's not the issue here.
It is with us. Our kids, our school. And one way or another, you are going to listen to us.
What's happened?
Nothing. Just needed a break. Mum's not coping very well. It all seems so cold and clinical. Everyone trying to make clever little legal points. What they're forgetting, though, it's my brother's future at stake.
I've got to find him innocent, Kathy. We're all going to speak up for him. Looks like they're ready for you now, Seth.
Mr. Armstrong?
Nick's no killer, and that's just what I'm going to tell him.
Will they believe it?
You didn't bring Alice.
This is hardly the place for a 5-year-old.
Maybe you're right. Better to wait till Nick's officially free. We'll take her for a celebration meal. You're invited too, of course.
Thanks, but I'd rather not count my chickens yet.
You don't like me, do you, Kathy?
I'm thinking about Alice. I think she's had enough changes in her life.
You mean you don't want to lose her? She's still Nick's daughter, Kathy. And when we're married, she'll be mine, too. We're really grateful for everything you've done. It's time to give her up.
Chop. Oh, sorry, Eric, you have to bring it over here. I'm a bit short-staffed today.
Where's Viv?
Good question. She'll have to drop Donna off at school. She hasn't been seen since. Oh, there's an advert in there. Talent scout looking for local acts.
I doubt my Elvis Presley impersonation would qualify.
No, I'm starting up a new band. Just to think to pull the punters in your wine bar.
Well, Dee and I have been thinking about having some more entertainment.
Well, it's your lucky day then, isn't it? Get in quick before you can't afford us.
Vic, I am a businessman. If you bring in extra punters, you get a share of the profits. Otherwise, zilch.
OK, you're on. Well, about time. How long does it take to drop one kid off at school?
Don't worry about it, Vic. Way things are turning out, she might not be going back there for quite a while.
Eh?
We're going to boycott the place till the head sees sense.
You can't do that.
Well, do you think an underfunded school should waste taxpayers' money on one little hooligan when the rest of the kids go without?
Well, when you put it like that, it does seem a little unfair.
Good. You can sign my petition.
With pleasure.
It's probably going to come up at the next governor's meeting.
Well, Viv Windsor's not going to let it drop. She's determined to cause trouble.
I think you can rely on us to have the children's best interests at heart.
Look, me and Sarah are trying to be good parents to Andy. We're trying to give him the sort of home he's never had. Now, I know he's been in a few scrapes, but he's a good lad at heart.
And I'm sure he'll settle down if he's just given the chance.
And she's not exactly been the greatest parent in the world herself, has she? I mean, Scott left home as soon as he could. Kelly ran away.
Yeah, trading insults isn't going to do anybody any good, Jack.
No, we don't want that either. We'd just rather the head allowed Andy back into the mainstream as soon as possible, and then we can forget the whole thing.
Yeah, but that's what the governors want too.
I'm glad to hear it.
But we must be aware that protests like this attract a lot of publicity, particularly in the current climate.
But you can't blame us for that, or Andy.
Yeah, but village schools have problems with funding at the best of times. Public row isn't going to do anybody any good. I suggest you just try and avoid any further confrontation.
How did it go?
I don't know, Biff. Me and Betty had it all worked out exactly what I was supposed to say. Then they asked all wrong questions.
What do you mean?
I told them what they did to Nick first time he had a run-in with him.
Aye, tying him up and sticking a fish in his mouth.
They pushed him to the limit. There's no doubt about that.
The bloke had it coming to him, Seth. You were badger-baiting scum.
It didn't come out like that. Prosecution made it look as if it were just harmless pranks, and that Nick were violent after his revenge.
Yeah, well, that's their job, innit? To make him look bad. It's what the jury thinks that counts.
Thanks for speaking up for him, Seth.
I only hope it does some good.
Well, the judge is just about to start his summing up. You'll soon know.
Where did you say Mrs. Tate was?
She's gone riding. Afraid I don't know when she'll be back.
Perhaps we ought to wait a little longer.
Don't see why.
Out of common courtesy, Chris. She was his wife.
Only in name. As far as he was concerned, she was dead. They'd hated each other for years before that.
I don't think this is the time or the place.
Oh, I'd say it's the perfect time. The only reason she's come back here is to try and get her hands on Dad's money again. Can't wait to see her face when she finds out she's failed.
That's enough.
Just get on reading the will. It's got nothing to do with Kim.
It's not strictly true, Mr. Tate.
OK, she's James's legal guardian, but I'm sure we can rely on Sophie to report back to her.
Sorry if I've kept everyone waiting. Thank you.
Well, terms of the will are very simple. Christopher and Zoe will each inherit £500,000. And James will inherit 10% of company shares when he achieves the age of majority.
If Kim's your guardian, you need to get them under lock and key.
The rest of the estate, money, land, property, and any rents due thereon, are bequeathed to Mrs. Kim Tate.
There is no way Dad would have left it all to that cow. He thought she was dead.
Nevertheless, she's very much alive.
I suppose this is all down to you.
I'm as puzzled as you are.
Why would you be the main beneficiary?
I was his wife.
This will is the last will your father made, Mr. Tate. It dates back 2 years, with a codicil which provides for any subsequent heir. Perhaps your father was intending to make another will, but in the absence of fresh instruction, this document stands.
That's ridiculous. He was always making new wills. He held it over me, whether I was in it or out of it.
It was his little game, Chris. He enjoyed watching you squirm.
I don't believe this. I intend to challenge every syllable of that will in court.
That would be a long and costly process, Mr. Tate. And I shall advise you it wouldn't change anything. Good day to you all.
Thank you.
I don't know how you did it, but somehow you've stitched us all up.
That's not true.
One day I'll prove it and you'll be sorry. That's a promise.
I suppose you think I've swindled you too?
That's between you and your conscience, Kim. If you've got one.
I'll wait for you outside.
See you later. Bye.
Come on, everyone's leaving.
You go if you want. I'll be along in a minute.
The driver wants to go home. What's up?
I just want to wait till they're all clear. That's all.
Has someone been having a go at you? Is it Dean? Is that what this is all about? Look, I'm here to look after you. You've got nothing to worry about. Come on, tell me on the way home. You know, you mustn't worry too much about what people say. Words can't hurt you.
It's little more than what he says, Will.
Why? What's he done? If he's laid a finger on you, I'll sort him out. Julian will still be out.
They've been out for 2 hours now. You reckon that's a good sign?
Oh, I don't know, Seth. I just wish this thing was over. Any news?
I'm hoping your evidence will have clinched it. You've been good friends to Nick, both of you. And if you really want to help him, there's something else you can do. Nick's got a chance for a new life with me in America. After everything that's happened, no one could blame him for wanting to leave Emmerdale behind. I just can't get Kathy to see it's the only answer.
You're asking her to give up Alice? Well, she loves the kid like she was her own.
She's already lost her husband. Alice is all she's got left.
I'm asking you to think about what's right for the child, not Kathy. You have to see that she belongs with Nick, and Nick belongs with me.
Before you start sorting out Alice's future, I think there's the little matter of the verdict. The jury's coming back now.
If you want her, you're gonna have to wait in line. Must be a queue a mile long outside her place.
Just ignore him.
My lucky day when she came to school. I won't let her look at her and she don't even charge.
You didn't go with him, did you, Em?
No, of course not. He tried to make me, but I ran.
Right, stop getting away with that.
The problem, Kent.
Smart to sort it.
Go on! Go get it!
I just can't believe it.
You can appeal against the sentence.
He must be grown up by the time he gets out.
Don't pretend that's not what you wanted.
He's my brother. I'd have given anything to see him go free.
Anything?
You were never right for him, Karen. He'd have seen that in the end. I just didn't want to see little Alice hurt along the way.
Look, love, we're all upset. This isn't the time and place for talking about this.
I'll be leaving for the States tomorrow.
You're still going? I thought you cared enough about Nick to wait for him.
I do, but I know you've got years to poison his mind against me, and you'd do anything to keep Alice. But I'd like to see her before I leave. Explain things to her.
You've told her enough lies already.
I really thought we were going to be a family. Least you can do is let me say goodbye.
I am never letting you near Alice ever again.
Go on, get him! Go on! Go on, get him! Go on! Yeah. Get him! Get him!
What the hell is going on?
You've got to stop them, Dad!
Now, I think you two have got a bit of explaining to do.
Look, Zoe, I've done plenty of things wrong in my life. I don't deny it. But you've got to believe I didn't plan any of this. I don't think people ever understood the way things were between me and your father. It just seemed like we couldn't live together, we couldn't live apart. Yeah, I hated him. But I loved him too. There'll certainly never be anyone else like him.
Well, at least that's something we can agree on.
I don't expect Christopher to understand that. All he's ever wanted is money and power over little people, which is why Frank would never let him get his hands on Home Farm.
But you're telling me he trusted you with it?
We built it up together. So it seems right somehow. And I'll fight to keep it the way he would have wanted. But I'm going to need your help. I'm calling a board meeting for next week. I'd like to think I could count on your support to keep Frank's dream alive.
That's horrible. Dean seems such a nice boy.
Should have known he was only after one thing.
I know you always tell me not to get into any fights. I just saw red when I saw him showing off in front of his mates.
You did the right thing, Will. I'd have probably killed him if I'd known what it was all about.
Well, he looked scared enough when you grabbed him anyway. I don't think he'll be troubling Emma again.
It's not him, it'll be someone else. They all just think I'm a tart.
You mustn't talk like that, Em.
I know what they're saying about me at school. I thought Dean was different. I thought he really liked me.
I'll go and see the headmaster. Make sure nothing like this ever happens again.
It wouldn't do any good, Dad. You can't stop people thinking. As far as they're concerned, being an unmarried mother means you're easy. I'm just going to have to learn to live with that.
She's trying to get your support. She doesn't have a majority shareholding.
Nor do you. Nor does anyone now.
Which means this board meeting will be the perfect opportunity for the rest of us to show her where she stands. I know I can count on your vote. The next priority is to get to Steve before she does.
I've just thought I'd let you know I've finished for the day.
Does that mean Kim's busy with James?
Yeah, she's taking him for a walk.
Perfect time to phone Steve.
It's only hours since Dad's will was read and already they're drawing up battle plans.
And you're stuck in the middle again.
I just wish I knew what Dad would really have wanted.
For you to make up your own mind. You're the one he trusted most of all.
Thanks.
Look, you've obviously got a lot on your mind just now, so maybe it's better if we cancel our dinner tonight.
No. It's one thing I've been looking forward to. I thought you and I could forget about Home Farm and board meetings and concentrate on getting to know one another better.
Good evening.
Hi. I've decided you might be right about putting on some more entertainment.
We could do themed evenings. Spanish food, Spanish dancing and Spanish wine. Or Italian food and wine with a little light opera.
That's not exactly what I had in mind. I've secured the services of a new local band.
Are they good?
Well, they won't cost us anything, which is even better.
Right, Alice, I think it's time Dolly Daydream was in bed, don't you?
She can't sleep. She's too excited.
What's she so excited about?
America. She's come with me, Daddy and Karen.
Oh, sorry we're so late.
Oh, it's all right, Kathy. Alice has been as good as gold.
Where's Daddy? Karen said he'd be coming home when this trial thing was over.
Come on, Alice. Let's go upstairs. I think we've got a lot to talk about.
It's bad news, isn't it?
He got 10 years.
We did his best. They just wouldn't listen.
That poor child.
Sometimes I think there's a curse on Home Farm. I remember when we first moved there. Dad was sure it was a place he could build his dreams. And it ended up killing him.
You loved him very much, didn't you?
I like chalk and cheese, really. I could never understand his obsession with making money. He said it's because I'd never had to do without it. But maybe if he'd listened to me, things would have turned out differently.
None of this was your fault.
Try not to get involved in it all, Sophie.
I'm just the nanny. No one's interested in what I think.
David Glover was just a farm labourer. Nick was just the gardener. One is dead and one is in prison.
What are you trying to say, Zoe?
I'm trying to say I don't want to see you hurt.
I don't believe you'd hurt me. I know what I'm getting into if that's what's worrying you. You told me to think about all this while you were away, and I have. I've done a lot of thinking. I know it'll be hard for us both at Home Farm. Especially when people find out. But I think it'll be easier if we face it together. I want to be with you, Zoe. And if you don't want to be with me, then you should say so now.
Will Daddy be back tomorrow?
No, Alice. Not tomorrow or the next day. Not for a very long time.
But when will we be going to America?
You won't be going to America.
But Karen said...
Karen said a lot of things she shouldn't have done.
Did she tell me a lie?
Sometimes people say things because they want them to be true. Like when Auntie Cathy married Dave. I thought we were going to spend the rest of our lives together. Other people told me I was wrong, and I didn't believe them. I didn't want to believe them, and now I have to learn to live my life without him. And you're going to have to learn to live without Daddy.
Is Daddy dead?
No, sweetheart. He's in prison.
But prison's for bad people. Karen said he'd done nothing wrong.
Well, the court decided he had. So he'll have to be in prison for 10 years. It's a very long time. Twice as long as you've been alive. Come here. You know, we're both going to miss him. We both have to be very, very brave and help each other when we're sad. Because it's just going to be you and me from now on.
You won't leave me?
No, Alice, I'll always be here for you. You know, you're the only person in the world I care about. And no one's ever going to take you away from me. Promise.